Hi. So, last one got cut off. I ran out of space there. I know it's long. Bear with me. It's worth it. If you want to get into the work, understand the aspects, understand the energies that are transcending down, make a little sense of the internal landscape that you might be experiencing. Stay with me here. Thank you for coming back for part 2. This is part 2. So where was I at? As far as, all the shadow work, like I said, the relationship aspect, you in relation to all of your relationships, you need to be making sure that you're looking at yourself. It's fine to point out and kind of point the finger at others, notice things that are going on in your relationships and what your reactions are to them. But a lot of people have a tendency to want to call out everybody else. So make sure that when you're calling out everybody else, that you're making an effort to continue to look at yourself. Look at how you react to what it is that, whatever the issue is that presents itself. Make sure that you look at you. This is definitely a time where truth is going to come out. That's a whole nother aspect of this. If anybody has been hiding anything or you've been attempting to hide anything, it'll end up coming out. If not immediately, which is the much more likely scenario than in time. Like I said, these energies are going to continue for the next year, intensely for the next month or two, super intensely for the next week. Just, make sure, look at your own inner power dynamics, look at the monsters under the bed, and realize too, come from a place of non-judgment as far as any of the shadow work that you are hopefully going to get into, and realize that, your hate is literally just as important as your love, and it's just as okay, and it's just as good. Embrace them both. Be whole. Love all of yourself so that you can move forward and release any energetic blocks that you may be having in progress in life. What makes you continue to repeat all these patterns over and over. And also make peace with, it is okay. It is absolutely okay for you to receive. Some people get programmed into, the notion that it is so much better to give. And yeah, it's absolutely wonderful to give, and there's huge reward in that. I love to give myself. Like, I actually prefer to give. And that's something that I had to look at in myself, is that, what is it that makes me have the aversion to receiving? I can almost be uncomfortable with it sometimes. Great example is, if you go, you go to a friend's house or something, and they're being a good host, and they are super happy to see you, and they're like, oh, I made this cake, would you like some cake? And you're like, no, blah, 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 I don't want it. So, you go over there again. Second time, they offer you some cake, and you're, no, but no, thank you. So, third time, you go to their house. They're going to offer you some cake, but they're going to be like, yeah, I know. I'm asking you anyway, but I know you don't like cake now, and, whatever. Fourth time you go over there, you're not going to get anything. If you keep pushing away your gifts, if you keep saying no, you never say yes, you don't open yourself to receive, you're uncomfortable with it, you have all your reasons, the universe is just going to stop trying to give it to you, because it's going to realize, like, well, they don't want it, so might as well try to give it to somebody else. So realize that it is okay for you to receive, and realize that on the deepest and most subconscious levels. It doesn't, don't be prideful. I mean, to a certain degree, that can be a good thing in certain situations, but overall, being prideful and being resistant to receiving help. A lot of people are like, super adverse to asking for help, or they believe that, you know, their way is the only best way, and they don't really want anyone's interference in what it is that they're doing. So they won't ask for help, or they're uncomfortable accepting help, or, you know, somebody offers to help them and they're like, no, 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 I have to pay you. And they're like, no, it's cool. And, you know, there's the big argument and everything. Take it. Work on being better at receiving. You deserve it. Understand that you deserve it. What are the dark parts of you that make you subconsciously think that you don't deserve it? Where is that coming from? What is it? What's the source of shame? Is it something from childhood? Is it your own constructed belief systems? Have you decided that, you know, being giving and being unaccepting of help or unaccepting of gifts is a virtue? It makes you better? It makes your character better than everybody else? Do you feel like it's a weakness if you receive or you ask for help? Look at those things. Open your whole consciousness to accepting more good into your life. That's part of law of attraction. And that's why I'm telling you, it's super important to address these, you know, deep subconscious issues. Bring them into your consciousness. Bring them into the light so you can bring things to you and you can manifest and you can receive these gifts. Because if you don't, the subconscious is going to keep blocking you. You're not going to understand why. You're like, I'm doing all my affirmations and my positive thinking, and I'm even working toward it in the physical realm, and, you know, I'm saying my meditations and all these different things, and it's just not coming to me. That would be why. You've got to address the whole thing. You need to be manifesting from a perspective of wholeness and true self-appreciation and love. Accept the gifts too. And open your whole consciousness to more good. Essentially, if you have had this size bucket your whole life, you want to try to make your bucket this big in your conscious and subconscious mind. Because once you join the two, they'll be illuminated, and you're in a much better place to manifest. Also, remember, look at money dynamics. Like if we're looking at receiving financial gifts, receiving gifts of love, better relationships, and really anything, especially that relates to the physical realm, actual possessions, actual cash flow, that kind of thing. Realize that your possessions and money in no way equal to your worth, or in any way your value in life. And I mean this from the perspective of, if you're well off and affluent, don't look at yourself in any higher respect than anybody else because of that. And I'm not saying shame yourself. That's totally not what I'm saying. But I'm saying don't position yourself mentally higher than others. And conversely, if you are poor and you have been, you know, your whole life, don't look at that as a negative on your character or a positive on your character, because material possessions and money have nothing to do with your wealth. It's a benefit in many, many ways, if it's used properly and if you can keep the proper mindset. But also, from that poverty perspective, don't hate on people that are more affluent than you. Don't be jealous. Jealousy is a cancer of an energy to introduce into any being or space or life or anything. It will consume everyone involved. Jealousy is a super bad, pervasive issue. So if you've always subconsciously looked at affluent people, people that have more than you, the Joneses over there that have the nicer car and the boat, and you're always wanting, you know, to know what the hell they're doing to have all that stuff. And, you know, you talk to Bob over the hedge and smile and make nice and everything, but you're like, them bastards over there, blah, blah, blah. You got your own negative attachment to Bob and his affluent family over there, and you kind of demonize them for it. What does that in your subconscious stop you from, if you think about it? If you demonize people that are more affluent than you, it's going to make you resistant to receiving more affluence yourself, because you look at those things in a very negative viewpoint. You have a negative opinion of people that are wealthier than you. So these are things, this is, you know, part of what I'm talking about. Get in there, look at how you think about things and how you relate to things on this really deep guttural level, and start to reconcile these things, bring it into the light. And in certain instances like that, where you have a negative opinion of something, or, you know, if you're really wealthy and you have a negative opinion of poor people, like you think that they are just lazy and that they haven't worked as hard as you, start looking at those ideas, and you can actually, through, you know, bringing it into your consciousness, take this as a package, the good and the bad of it, and work to transform it. Since this portal is all about transformation, perfect time to start looking at all this stuff. Catch yourself on your shit throughout the day when you're thinking things. Like, you know, you see somebody with a nice car, or you see whatever, like, catch yourself right then and there. Stop. And let the feeling internally guide you, like I said, down the rabbit hole, to start looking at, what is this belief system that I have that is probably holding me back. Something else that I want to talk about is self-compassion. I am a witch. I practice. I'm a Buddhist practitioner. I have multi-spiritual beliefs. But the Buddhist principle of compassion is super, super important here. And it's compassion for self. So you need to separate yourself from ego. And largely, too, in this, separate yourself from expectation, because the magic really happens in the realization. That's where the light comes in. When you're bringing it into your conscious mind, that's where you can let go of the attachments that you have with it and sort of move past that. Always, always have compassion for self. Don't shame yourself. Don't judge yourself with any of this. Just do the work, acknowledge it, move forward. If you're a mantra practicer, if you meditate, if you pray, whatever it is, if you seek to change what you find down there in the darkness, once you make a complete package out of the good and the bad, you can use your individual spiritual practice, whatever it is, light a candle in church, light a candle at home, whatever you do. Then you can start working on manifesting the positive change in yourself or externally. Another thing that's super important with this portal is accept and acknowledge your gifts from the universe. You know, like I said, continue to be open to receiving. Say yes to more, too. Don't go, I'm tired and all this, you know, or, you know, I'm nervous about it. We let a lot of excuses and anxieties hold us back. A lot of what potentially the universe is trying to give you may come in ways that you wouldn't necessarily think of. People think that, oh, the universe is going to give me gifts. It's like, oh, I'm going to win the lottery. Not necessarily. It might be an important career connection that you meet at a party that somebody invited you to, and you're like, I don't know enough people. I'm not going to go. I'm really not into it. I'm tired today. I worked all day. You know, I want to watch this show at home. This is coming out on Netflix, and I think I'm just going to bail. Second guess yourself on that. Give more things a chance than you have, especially for the next year. Try to see where things will take you. Keep your heart open. Keep your mind open, of course. So, something else about this Scorpio transformation portal. Whatever it is that you are the most afraid of losing and whatever you're the most attached to is likely what this planetary arrangement is going to attack. For lack of a better, I don't want to make it sound scary. It can feel scary when this stuff happens. Whatever it is that you're the most afraid of losing and that you're holding on to the tightest and that you're the most, wrapped up and attached to and possessive over, because jealousy and possession and ownership and all this stuff are issues that are coming up right now. That's your dark. Big arrow. Go there. Look at that. This portal, the trines, the new moon, all this stuff is going to go after that stuff. So maybe you can start the work now. Start looking at that. Look at what constructs aren't serving you in that model anymore. Start working on it. It's attacking it to show you what you've created that is not you. It is what you made up. It is not you. It is your ideas, your thoughts, your attachments, not you. As a spiritual soul here on earth, those things don't define you. And, for certain zodiac signs and certain chart placements, depending on what house it's hitting, it might hit you a little bit harder. Things might be ripped away. I'm not trying to sound like Negative Nancy, but these are all for transformation and rebirth and for new beginnings elsewhere. Some of these things can feel awful, overwhelming, dark night of the soul, massive transformation. You think that your world is falling apart. And the tarot cards, it's, massive tower moment. But all that comes for rebirth. And ultimately for transformation and for healing. Over the next month, especially over the next week with all this that's going on, look for the aha moments. Look for any opportunity where you can check yourself on your own shit. The aha moments are the healing, they're the freedom, they're the illumination, they're bringing everything into your consciousness. Slow down and feel it. Less thinking, more feeling, especially at the onset. You can do the thinking after you figure it out. Once the emotion makes you understand what the trigger was, where to go with that, then think it out. So, if you enjoyed these videos, like, share, subscribe. I would love to get comments. I definitely will be reading and responding to them. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I adore you all. I don't know who has watched these videos so far, but I really hope that they are helpful to you. And I will be back tomorrow to talk about moon astrology. I'll kind of be switching back and forth between general astrology and aspects, which was like today. This is a special because this was kind of a, tomorrow is a big deal. I'm filming this Friday night. So tomorrow, 11/11, it's going to be a really big deal. The conjunction on Sunday between why did I blank out here? Pluto conjunct Juno. That's what it is. That's a big deal. That's like, go deeper. Everything is urging us, to just as deep as you thought you can go farther. Monday, there's going to be that giant trine between Uranus, Mercury, the Sun, the Moon, all this stuff going on. And then we're also going to have Jupiter and Venus conjuncting. Crazy. A lot of this stuff hasn't happened for, I think that grand conjunction and the grand trines that have happened this year is, I mean, the solar eclipse was kind of a big deal. That does happen every so many years, but a couple of these aspects that have happened lately haven't happened for 142 years. And it's just the way the outer planets' orbits work, that it's very, very few and far between. So some big shifts on, you know, individually, inside, and society are going to be happening. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'm going to end it here. I'll be back tomorrow with Moon in Virgo and what that means. It's going to be changing over around noon Eastern time. That's for the United States. Later out in my videos, I'll start listing times for other places if I end up with viewers from there. But enjoy your night. Enjoy your night. Love you. Bye.